All right. Just letting you know, I'm actually very happy with the way my garden's coming out. So I got some stuff planted. I started them from seed. They're coming out. Pretty exciting times, man. Just gotta love spring, right? But this video I'm going to talk about real quickly, because as I was gardening, I actually, this is why this video is inspired, actually. I'm looking at my son playing from the far corner of where I was when I was gardening. You know what I'm saying? I was planting certain things in the ground. By the way, he planted an apple from seed. I actually have 3 apple trees from seed, and this is the 2nd year, so they're 2 years old. When I do my walkthrough, which will be tomorrow, I'm going to show you these trees. They look pretty phenomenal. Okay, I got peach, pear. Those I bought. My sister bought me those, but the ones I started from seed, I'm particularly connected to, because I started them from seed. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things. I mean, I'll walk through the garden. I'll talk to you about it. But today I happened to see my son playing in the far corner, and what happened was that I see him playing with rocks on the floor. And here's the thing. He has a big rock, and then he has all these little rocks, okay? And they're all going to war against this big rock. Now, I'm seeing him make these sound effects. Like that. Everything's going crazy. There's dirt flying all over the place. And the funny thing is that he's got dirt. I mean, I'm telling you, he's black. Like, everything's black. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, damn, bro, he's all dirty. He's going to go inside and get everything dirty. But then I'm like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. But something else sparked in me as I said, I don't give a shit. What's funny is that as that's happening, there's a war going on with the rocks. He animated these rocks, which I find pretty phenomenal. You know what I mean? But the crazy thing here is that it just struck to me. And I'm like, wow, man, as he's doing that, okay, this is where I'm going to talk about the art of fighting without needing to fight. Okay. See, my son, as he's playing and doing his thing, just being, okay, and having a jolly old great time, his immune system is building defenses, is literally, you know, protecting the system, the body, the vessel, from any foreign invaders that come in. And if anything does happen to come in, the body knows how to process it. So if he happens to, let's say, get a cold or a fever, nothing to panic about. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I can tell you is that's the body's way of processing things. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you eat, especially foods that don't belong in your system, depending on the seasons that it is and whatnot, the body will process it through your metabolism. But do you know that everybody runs a sort of fever, especially people who are especially overweight and whatnot? The body's always going to be running a little bit hotter because of the fact that you're in acidosis state, and people tend to sweat just walking a block. You know what I'm saying? But just so you know, there's certain things the body needs to process a certain way, and it'll process it by certain things that have to happen, such as fevers, sniffles, cold, mucus, things. But at the end of the day, your body's building an immunity and defense to all this shit. Now, the funny thing is that as my son is playing in the dirt, you know what I'm saying? He's doing all this shit and you know, just being him, a kid, and playing, his body is building defenses and immunity to whatever is happening. But he doesn't have his mind on the fact that he could potentially get sick because of germs. You get what I'm saying? It would take an asshole like me to go up to him and tell him, you know, hey, you're going to get sick. There's a pandemic going around, and you know what I mean? You're all dirty, and those germs, you got dirt in your mouth, you're going to get sick. It would take me to say that, because I made a video on this before, the diseased mind, which I'll link in the description below. But the diseased mind is basically all starting from your parents. You know what I'm saying? Your parents will tell you, you know, you have cancer, you got to be careful, because, you know, you got to be wise with what you do, because cancer runs in the family. You get what I'm saying? So automatically you believe your parents because your parents told you that you're susceptible to cancer. So now you have to expect the fact, because law of attraction works that way. Now you believe that it could happen. So because of your belief, you have a certain level of trauma in the way, and anything that happens to you, you'll manifest that cancer a lot easier, because you think that that's what it is, the cancer. So let's say if you happen to get a little bit sick or whatnot, you'll automatically think you have cancer. You know what I'm saying? Because your parents told you have cancer. So it's a mind virus. It's something that was downloaded into your mind by your parents. You get what I'm trying to tell you? But at the end of the day, your parents are still you. Now, here's the thing. When I say everything outside of you is connected, it's not to say that they are literally you, because this is the thing. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, but you say that everything outside of you is you and we're individuals and whatnot. Listen, you're individual. But at the end of the day, you have to know that everything that's happening out here is manifested by you. You creating everything that's happening outside of you. This is how you're connected to these things, and this is how these things are you, because you're creating them from within you based on your mindset and your state of being. You get what I'm saying? So that's exactly what's happening. Now, to say, yeah, we are all having an individual experience. We're all individual beings. We're all different in our genetic uniqueness. You get what I'm saying? And this is all about accepting our genetic uniqueness. I look at my dog, and when I run with my dog in Moss Lake, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the fact that he can do that with me because he's of that genetic uniqueness. He's a black poodle. And if you study about poodles, they're very athletic. They're great swimmers. They're very, very intelligent. But would you do that with an English bulldog? Would you do that with a Shih Tzu? No, you can't do that with a Shih Tzu because they're not genetically unique to that. What I'm exposing them to. They're more of a lap dog. You get what I'm saying? So it's basically just about even us. We all have our genetic uniqueness to us, but we all serve a purpose at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people who come out and say that there's certain people who don't deserve nothing out here. They're weak and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you see it like that, bro, you got to understand that everything is really something you're creating within you to actually project that out, and is giving you a trigger because there's a lot of holes that you got in your game, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you got to really, really pay attention to. Everything that you're experiencing is in your reality. I'm not going to get mad if I see somebody walking in the street with a mask on. You know what I'm saying? Because they're afraid of COVID-19. I'm not going to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? So what do? You got to realize that, we're all wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about energies and we embody energies, when I talked about that in my previous videos, you know what I'm saying? Like when I'm getting into gardening, I'm utilizing the energy of gardening to actually garden. And I've actually utilized it to such a potent extent that I've actually had the ability to actually do things without having to do research on it on YouTube or find books or anything like that. Literally, I just it just started to become common sense to certain things that I was doing, such as like when I gave an example about pruning or certain things that happen within the soil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did some research in the beginning. But at the end of the day, I just stopped doing research, and you learn as time goes on. As the years go on, you just become better and better at it. So that's why whenever you dedicate yourself to something and you like it, it becomes a passion, because even that word passion is very, very misused, just like the word love. You know what I'm saying? Because there's something called compassion. But the compassion would come out with the fact that if you see somebody outside of you with a mask on or not at your level of intellect or whatnot, you got to realize the compassion part has to come in from the fact that you perceive them a certain way because you still got a level of work to do. So that's why you should have the compassion for that person, because that's all about self-love. See, if you truly don't love yourself to the deepest extent, that's how you won't have compassion for humanity outside of you, because you know that these people that outside of you that are triggering you or are making you feel a certain way, you are literally projecting that from within. And you don't realize that that's something that you have to connect to and be like and accept and literally accept it. This is why when we talk about the government, when we talk about all these things outside of us, these things outside of us are still us. Okay, we are projecting these things, and we're not going to go to war with these people, because if we decided to even go to war with these people, we would get fucked up, because the technology these people have are crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that technology is literally what is your human vessel. They cannot compete with this human vessel, but you cannot compete with that technology because you don't understand that technology. And for you to understand that technology, you would have to understand this technology. So I'm going to link in the description below the videos that I did months ago, Area 51 and the latest technology, and the real alien invasion. I'm going to link those two things in the description below so that it could tie into what I'm talking about here. Okay. In order for you to understand their technology, you would have to understand your technology. So you cannot go to war with these people because they're way too advanced, but you are more advanced. The thing is, you don't know how advanced you are. So that's why when you go to war with these people, you will get fucked up. So the reason why I say fighting the art of fighting without having to fight is because you literally, what you do is that you change your perception from within. Okay. Now this sounds cliche, and everything, but this is the way it is. Okay. You take the path of least resistance. Do you think that you're going to be coming out here into this existence and trying to change everybody outside of you, layers upon layers upon layers of indoctrination? It's not going to happen. See, indoctrination, you were fucked from the moment you were birthed. Okay? Because you were birthed by a doctor. I don't know if you came out C-section or whatnot, but the thing is that anything that happens unnatural is actually not in your favor because you were birthed by a doctor. Okay? And anything that's doctored is not in your favor. Okay? Because, you see, you come in here and whenever you become conscious, what do? You start to do rituals, you start to do your altars, and you don't know that your altar is literally your body as well. This is your altar, and that we have alter egos. And when we use our alter egos, we start to alter our reality. Why do I say alter egos? I'll explain that right now. When I'm gardening, I'm using the energy of a gardener. Okay, and this is still a ritual in and of itself because I'm using this altar. When I go into my room and it's a dark room and there's candles and all that, I'm taking on the body, the energy of the the magician. So I'm going to be the magician. You know what I'm saying? You are what you eat. So that's what you do. And you do it with a passion and you become good at it as time goes on. And through experiences, which are the experiments that you're performing at the moment, you now consider those experiences. You know what I'm saying? So why do I start my video with my son? Because my son, when he was playing, he doesn't realize that his immune system is literally going at work and fighting for him without him having to even lift a finger. You get what I'm saying? So what's happening there is he doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is just be. Like us adults, all we have to do is just be. You get what I'm saying? But we're manipulated and controlled through fear because that's why. See, think about this. This is why the media puts out so much shit, fear mongering, and it's just so you don't forget. You know what I'm saying? And now they have a story about a guy named Dr. Lieber. You get what I'm saying? Where he's literally now arrested because he supposedly brought the COVID-19 to China. Okay, so now what's happening here is I got a few people that I know of that, we talk and all that. Now they're quarantining themselves. They're like, nah, we're going to stay indoors just in case. Okay, but that's the whole trick. You see what I'm saying? This is where the whole mind trick goes. Because the thing is that people are becoming smarter. All right, it's summertime. Viruses aren't that fucking potent in summertime. So now what's happening here is that now people are becoming smarter. They're looking online. Some people got big followings. They start to explain the science as to how viruses are work, and basically, how this whole thing may be a scam. There's so many different theories online, a lot of different theories. But the whole shit is that now this is why there's so many theories online, because it's a mental warfare. See, I'm going to give a shout out to Danny Skylark because she sent me a video by Dr. Rashid Buttar, and he's basically and I'm going to put that in the description below, and he's basically explaining that when the mind goes, the body goes as well. You get what I'm saying? Now, when you look at this from this aspect point of view, everybody puts faith and trust in doctors, the government, the education system. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes your God. Because look at what you value most here. Money. Money is what you use. This is your currency. So in the dollar bill, it says, in God we trust, right? In God we trust. That means that the guys that you're trusting are the government, the education system, the media, and all this bullshit outside of you, which means that if the media gave you a story now telling you that, oh, this guy, Dr. Lieber, brought this coronavirus to China from the States. Now you're like, oh, I'm going to stay indoors just in case something's happening. Just in case means you put yourself in a case because you gave away your power, because you feel like something may be out there that's stronger than you to actually combat what's going on out here. Okay? Those are mind viruses that actually manipulated you to convince you to actually now stay indoors. Okay? And that's not the way it's supposed to work. Because at the end of the day, you're giving these people way too much credit. Whether this shit is man-made or whether the shit is natural, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Nothing can fuck with you because all these things out here are an extension of you. Listen, these things out here cannot exist without you. Okay? And the fact that this shit is happening out here, you gotta change your perception about what the government is doing to you, because the government ain't doing a goddamn thing to you. You're doing that shit to yourself. They're actually putting things out there, and it's up to you to be influenced and make the decisions and choices for you to actually go about your day and make the choices to actually either stay indoors or do whatnot. And I'm not telling you to go outside and actually create a riot and be like, no, I'm outside. No, because that's fighting. You change your perception. So they tell you stay home. This is the fucking thing that people get wrong, is that you're actually fucking home. It don't matter if I'm in another country or another state. Okay? I'm home. Wherever I'm at, I am home. Look at the meme. It's a fucking little house with a big heart at the end. Everybody's like, oh, that's the love for humanity. Nobody knows what the fuck love is. Okay? Because at the end of the day, that little heart is telling you that heart is where is where home is. Home is where the heart is. And first of all, if you even want to look at the word earth, home, earth and heart is interchangeable. The anagram for heart is earth. Okay? But the thing is that that's basically coming in tune with what is natural, nature. And it's not to polarize yourself to what's good or bad, because nature is natural. Okay? And natural is interchangeable with the word neutral. Neutral in Spanish is neutral. Natural. So I don't want to hear people telling me, oh, but in English or in Spanish is different. Because you can hear the word indoctrination means indoctrinado. Okay? And doctor is doctor. Okay? Now, the funny thing is here that when you have an altar, you have an altar. That's how you say it in Spanish. All these words in Spanish and English are the same shit. They just sound different, but they're the same shit. Okay? And now, if you want to alter your reality, then use your alter egos. But you see, people want to kill their ego. It's not about killing your ego. It's about to kill. When you say killing the ego, means kill your ego that's not serving you. You want to use egos that work in your favor. This is utilizing the energies that. So when people do rituals and they do their altar work and whatnot, energies take over their body because you let them in. But you got to realize what energies are serving you and what's not. That's using your firewall, because you are an organic computer. And I already made a video on Man in the Machine, which I'm going to put in the description below, because anything I'm mentioning, I'm going to put it in the description below. And I actually want you to check out the Rogue Titans channel. Because I'll tell you right now, if you resonate with the information that I'm putting out, then I definitely suggest that you check the Rogue Titans videos out. Because, you see, he resonates with me. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this is what it is. It's basically us sharing what empowering message we have for each other. You know what I'm saying? But if you hear people complaining about the government or complaining about other people, those are people exposing their fucking weaknesses, man. They're exposing their weaknesses. And that shit right there, man, is not something that triggers me at all. But here's the thing, though. I made the example as if you were you see, when you have a fighter in MMA, because I watch MMA, but you'll notice that these people have coaches. What is the benefit of having a coach? What is the reason to have a coach? I'm going to tell you why. Because the coach knows his fighter better than, as much as the fighter knows himself. Okay? And he is actually observing him from a different perspective, from different angles, and he's watching how he fights and whatnot. Okay? He trains him. He actually knows how he fights, what his weaknesses and strengths are. So this is why it's important to know your strengths and weaknesses, because this is what's going to be projected outside of you. And as a coach, when he's fighting, the fighter is in the ring and he's in fight or flight. All the adrenaline. He's actually running more on instincts than anything else. You know what I'm saying? But he's also running on those automatic motor skills that he learned through training. You know what I'm saying? This is why there's most of the time when you see people training, it's just like a fucking rhythm. And it's just basically, these are all just automatic things that just happen when you're in there. And when you're fighting, it's the same shit. But you can actually have a coach to point out those holes, because all the blood and all the intellect is not in the brain. See, if you watch one of Dr. Bruce Lipton's videos, he'll tell you that if you're being chased by a lion, your immune system shuts down and you're in fight or flight. All the blood is actually going to the limbs or the legs and to your limbs. And the thing is that when you're fighting, okay, it's the same shit, because you got the rush of the crowd. You know what I mean? You got that pressure. You got that adrenaline. You got that, you know what I mean? That fight or flight. Okay, so the coach is there to coach you, to guide you. So everybody needs a little coach, and we're all spirit guides, because like I told you, the reason I say we're all spirit guides is because everybody that you're projecting outside is literally what's inside of you that you're creating. But don't get it twisted. We are all having individual experiences. We are all individual beings. Okay? It's not to say that literal, because you see, if you're taking it literal, then you're the type of person that would take the Bible literal. You would take everything literal, and it takes decoding. See, let me tell you something. I'm actually talking to people lately in my experiences, in my reality, in my immediate reality, even if I meet them in the street, as if they were fucking aliens. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look at them like that, you're actually going to open yourself up to actually learning and observing more of what it is that they're reflecting back to you. And then you go back and reflect, and you can actually get your answers so quickly. Because if you met an alien from like another planet, let's say if you literally met an alien from another planet, you'd be asking that alien 1,000 questions because you'd be so mesmerized by the fucking alien. But we want to make connections with aliens and spirits so much, but you can't even talk to fellow men. And fellow man is actually the aliens to you. Because this is your spaceship, and where you're traveling, you're meeting different people. It's like meeting different fucking planets. Okay? These people were born in different planetary alignments. They're different energies, and these are things that you're projecting out. So this should be a little blueprint of a map for you to see what it is going on within you. Okay? So what the fuck are you? There's people who live emotionally, and it's not about living emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Compassion is literally looking at everybody and saying, I got some work to do. This is why I'm projecting this that way. But your ego, the one that doesn't serve you, gets in the way and actually wants to judge. And you're actually judging yourself. You don't realize that you're actually doing more harm judging somebody and judging the entire human race. All right. Knowing that you're the one that's literally projecting all this shit out here. All right. It's time to fucking get into your empowered mode. You want to know how to embody God mode? Okay, is literally taking all this shit that you see outside of you and eat it with the blink of an eye or the snap of a tongue. Thanos does the snap of a finger. I do the snap of the tongue. All right, bring all this shit within you and change it within you, and you're gonna see that everything outside of you starts to change like magic. Okay, and I'm telling you this shit through experience. Matter of fact, all this shit that I'm doing out here, man, I got people driving by and actually fucking like mesmerized and you know what? That's literally contagious. That's literally, now these people want to do things. There's people who ask me for seeds. Okay? So I gave them seeds. Okay? And what do? They start to plant in their garden. Now we start to change the world this way because we lead by example. Okay? It's not about demonizing anybody, because what are you doing if you demonize people and start talking shit online and doing all this? You're not doing anything. That's actually spreading a virus that's not favorable for nobody. Okay? This whole shit, let's say it's an illusion, it's fake, it's whatever, but it's still your experience. Okay? Let's say if this is the sleeping state and you wake up when you actually die, then that's a different story. Okay? But how was your experience here? Because you see, you're nothing but food here anyway. That's why when you die, okay, they have to do an autopsy to keep your body preserved. And when you're in a funeral, okay, do you notice how all these people are crying for you? Or there may be people that are happy that you actually died. And what does that happen? That's an actual fucking a feast of a harvest of energy. That's a literal little farm for you, off of you. Okay? Because you know what? The way I look at it is, if anything, how did we contribute to this planet? If anything, dig a fucking hole and put my body in there and plant a fucking tree. And then I become a tree in this experience. That becomes my tree of life now. All right? I mean, cut the bullshit. There's people who are like really, they think they know shit, but they don't. And I'm telling you, I'm learning every day, but because I know I don't know shit. Because what I know, I let it go and I acquire new shit coming in.